Hidden deep in the universe, a 250 million light-years from the Earth, there exists a mysterious cosmic oddity. An upheaving force which influences the galaxies surrounding it for hundreds of millions of light-years. This enigmatic object is a galaxy cluster known as the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor was first noticed in the early 1970s. As radio astronomy helped scientists map the cosmic microwave background of space, it became clear thanks to a compression in one side of the emissions, that the Milky Way is moving through space in a certain direction. Our entire galaxy is being dragged, attracted towards a massive cluster of galaxies in the Norma constellation, at a speed of over 600 kilometers per second. Everything from our planet, our sun, the gas of the interstellar medium, and our entire local group, is sinking towards this elusive anomaly. The problem is, we couldn't see this anomaly for the longest time, because the cluster at the heart of the Great Attractor is hidden behind the plane of the Milky Way galaxy, with its opaque fields of gas and stars completely drowning out the backdrop. And so, we struggled to see the source of this Great Attractor pulling on space. There were many theories proposed for its existence, including that it could be the work of a massive unseen concentration of dark matter, a wind-like current through space known as dark flow, or even a colossal, invisible monster black hole dragging our neighborhood towards its bounds. But in the decades since, X-ray and infrared astronomy has allowed us to see through the galactic plane, as these emissions can pass through thick swaths of gas much more easily. That's how we realized that lying in the vicinity of this attractor is a group of galaxies known as the Norma Cluster, a huge congregational cosmic city whose compound gravitational influence is sculpting the galactic neighborhood for millions of light-years around it. But the actual truth was discovered in 2005, when an X-ray survey known as CO.AG probed the Great Attractor region, and found the Norma Cluster to be nowhere near as massive as would be necessary to account for the speed at which the Milky Way moves. There is an even greater attractor lurking behind the Norma Cluster. This concentration, known as the Shapley supercluster, is a much larger and more distant cluster, containing 8,000 massive spiral and elliptical galaxies, in a concentration situated 650 million light-years from Earth. This attractor is so massive that it itself is pulling the Great Attractor, as it exerts an influence on the Norma Cluster, amplifying the apparent power of the Great Attractor by increasing the velocity of the Milky Way. And then even farther beyond the Shapley attractor, some 870 million light-years from Earth, we find the even larger Vela supercluster, which exerts its own gentle tug on the aforementioned clusters from further afield. Together, these three clusters create a combined basin flow for our local galaxy filament, the Laniakea supercluster, an exceedingly vast network of 100,000 galaxies, characterized by their thread-like flows across space, many of which are shaped and sculpted by the combined effects of the Great Attractors. And so, the truth about the Great Attractor is that the anomaly just keeps on getting bigger, with each cluster influenced and attracted in its own way by another even greater cluster lurking in the backdrop. To quote Qui-Gon Jinn, there is always a bigger fish. But in reality, the universe is much too vast, and is expanding much too quickly, for the Milky Way to ever reach the core of the Great Attractor. Our movement through space towards this concentration is more like the photosynthetic leaves of a plant, stretching towards the sunlight. Therefore, no matter how great the Great Attractor is, we will more than likely escape being crushed within its bounds. Thanks for watching the Space Shack. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to help our channel grow.